Today I'm going to be breaking down Stranger by Simi, where as usual I'm going to be talking you through the various elements that I'm picking up on as we go through it. Now before we do actually go ahead and get into the video, if you're interested in my setup, i.e. headphones, mic and camera, I've put links to those in the description. Also, if you're on TikTok, we are also, so if you want to drop us a follow, show us some love, then by all means feel free. Let's get it.
I do the things that I never thought I would do. I didn't think love would turn me into a fool. I cannot help myself.
Key change.
It's way too much for my mental health.
Alright guys, you know the sketch, so let's go ahead and unpack what we've heard so far. Okay, so the first thing that we actually hear within the instrumental is this sound. And that sound is quite distant, but it's up front enough so that when the pianos come in, you can still hear it. Now that sound has got some effects put on it, and it's also being panned left and right. We then get the pianos come in, and as you would expect from a track like this, they are driving the main melodic element of the track. We then get Simi's vocals, they're being nicely reverbed, and that reverb is doing a couple of things. So the first thing is that it's ensuring that Simi's vocals are very present on the track. But it's also bringing things like depth, it's bringing warmth, it's bringing richness, and it's bringing emotion to those vocals. Now, one thing that I did kind of highlight or pick out is that when those vocals come in, that sound that I was talking about, you know, the one that pans left and right, that actually gets stripped back, right? That gets taken out of the mix completely. Another thing to pay attention to is that as we get towards the back end of the first segment of the first verse, what we hear is this higher range sound that just comes over the top of Simi's vocals. And then as we shift from the first segment into the second segment, which is what we're about to hit now, we get a short kind of break from the keys, right? Just listen to that. So there's that sound. Keys are in, and that sound is still there. Right, vocals.
I do the things that I never
Sound
thought
gone.
I would do. I didn't think love would turn me into a fool. I cannot help myself.
Love that key change.
It's way too much for my mental
Right,
health.
hear that higher range sound? Off the keys.
Should I love if it makes you do stupid things? Should I love away your nightmares your dreams? And now I'm compelled to run and hide in my shell.
Listen to that.
Now I just feel like a stranger. My auntie don't put me for danger.
Okay, right, this bangs, but it doesn't just bang, it is absolutely stunning. So let's cover off a couple of things that have happened here. So just to refresh your memory, right, we are in the second segment of the first verse. And the first thing that I notice here is we begin to get a little bit of vocal variety from Simi. Now, another thing that I noticed is that on one of the kind of phrases, we get this vocal run. And I can't remember what the phrase is, but when I take it back, I'll make sure that I point it out. Now, another thing that we get here is a bit of similarity to the first verse. So we get another higher range sound which comes over the top of Simi's vocals. But it's not the same as what we had in the first segment of the first verse, right? It is slightly different. We then move on and we get what sounds like a cymbal transition. That takes us into the chorus, and boom, that's when those stunning strings come in, right? So let's go back, let's listen. Right, vocal variety coming up.
Should I love if it makes you do stupid
Here.
things? Should I love away your nightmares
Vocal run.
your dreams? And now I'm compelled
Higher range sound coming in.
There.
There. Rise up.
I just feel like a stranger.
Strings.
My don't put me for danger. I don't recognize who I am anymore. I can't ignore just how much I feel like a stranger. I lost myself life waiting for change. I don't even know where I stand anymore.
Those falsettos, bro.
Love, no, no. And why am I look down? No, I am not okay. Oh. Tell me, how did I find myself in this mess? How can you be both you?
Yeah, okay, right. So this just keeps getting better and better and better. So, okay, going back to the back end of the chorus. So what we get is a couple of things within that. So the first one is it's either a double or a triple repeat of a particular word. Again, I can't remember what that word is, but I know that it either doubles or it triples. Now, when that happens, right, we actually start to get these shakers come in, and they're going a bit mental. But pay attention, because we don't actually get that cymbal transition that we had that kind of took us out of the first verse into the chorus. Instead, what we get is we get this crazy riff that happens on the strings. That then takes us into, the second verse, which is what we're in now. And this is where we hear those percussive elements come in. But if you pay attention, there's also some vocal sounds that have been brought into the mix. And I'm calling them sounds because they're not really saying anything. They're just kind of there. Just listen to that.
I don't even know where I stand anymore. Is this
Right, coming up.
No.
There, shaker.
And why am I look down?
Percussive's in now.
No, I am not okay. Oh. Tell me, how did I find myself in this mess?
Strings back
how
in.
How can you be both the worst and the best? Feels like I'm drowning, my heart is pounding. This is why I am compelled to run and hide in my shell. 'Cause now I just feel like a stranger.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man, listen, that is fire. So let's just quickly cover this off so we can get back into it. So, we come out of chorus, we get into the second verse, we have those percussive elements come in and the things that we discussed before. But then as we get into the second segment of the second verse, there's a couple of things that changes. So firstly, what we hear is, those vocal sounds that I was talking about, well, they begin to hit on the snare. We also get a kick drum that comes in. But as we kind of start to shift from the second verse into the chorus, again, there's a couple of things that happen there. So those crazy shakers, bro, they come back into the mix, but we actually get like a double hit. So we get what sounds like a snare, then we get a kick drum, and at the same time as that kick drum hitting, we get this bass drop that comes in, right? And that bass then carries over to the chorus, and that's just bringing an additional sense of rhythm, an additional sense of warmth, and again, building on the track as we get into the chorus, right? Just listen to that.
This mess, how can you be both the worst and the best?
Right, listen.
Feels like I'm drowning, my heart is pounding.
Kick drum.
This is why I am compelled to run and hide in my shell. 'Cause now I just feel
Boom.
like a stranger. My antidote puts me for danger. Don't recognize who I am anymore. I can't ignore
Transition.
just how much
Yes,
I feel
bro.
like a stranger.
Backing vocals in now. Yeah, that is I literally got goosebumps, man, and that's the first time I'm swearing, but I will bleep it out. Right, okay, so just very quickly, right, listen to what happens here. So we get to a point in the song where we begin to build anticipation, right, for the big drop that happens. And what you can hear is you can hear Simi actually leading the way in terms of building that anticipation. But what happens is when we get to the very peak of that anticipation, to create more impact, to give that more power, they bring those backing vocals in right at the last minute, bro. Right, and it's just absolute fire. Listen, I'll try and hit it on beat because I think they kind of come in a little bit off beat. I'll try and hit it on beat, but just listen to when those backing vocals come in and how that changes, especially as we hit the peak of the anticipation. But it bangs, mate. Listen.
Just how much I feel like a stranger.
Right, they're in there just normally now. Right, anticipation coming up. Boom! Bangs, mate. Right, okay, this is really smart, bro. Really smart from a production standpoint. Okay, so you remember, well, I mean, you wouldn't have forgotten because I only said it for you, but I was talking about how we build up the anticipation, right? Simi leads the way in that, and then they bring the backing vocals in to give it power. But what they do is they do the exact same thing. They stick to the same concept. They go, right, we need a build up here. We need anticipation. But they flip it, bro. They flip the script on it. So instead of having Simi lead to the run up of the anticipation, we actually get the backing vocals that do that. And then she just rides along over the top of it. And what they do to create that is they just extend the last word. I think it's the word more. They just extend it with the backing vocal, and then Simi just comes in over the top, bro. Listen to this. Listen to the switch. Like listen. Coming up. Listen to that. Simi's over the top. Listen. Am I out of my mind? 'Cause I know that I'm trying. They say love never dies. What am I? Outro. Yeah, bangs. Okay, that's it for me. If you want to see more reaction and analyses videos, then there'll be things popping up on the screen right now. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.